Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Friday market wrap up. This price action has been pretty wild. It's been it's really fun to watch, and this is totally classic BTC. I feel like the theme this week has really been for us to ask ourselves, right? So, going back to this kind of wedge that we had here. Um, and asking ourselves what's the most messed up, way that we could leave this wedge and really really mess people up here. And I said this on Monday, before we even broke out of it, was that we're going to go sideways, then sweep the high, and then go down. And that's exactly what happened. And after seeing it, I took a look at this analysis, and I, given the amount of liquidity that rests, let's go to a higher time frame. Given the amount of liquidity that rests above this high here, I was thinking to myself, I think it would be pretty wild if we were to sweep that high and then finally break down, right? Because there's just so much liquidity resting above here. So we got this move down. We took along here, right? We got the move up. We hit all three of our take profits within an hour, actually. Being our take profits being longing here. We had one set here, I believe here, and then here. So we hit all three, and then of course we had a retracement. Longed here. We got to move up, but have since then price has rounded out and had this, what is right now a deviation of the range low, similar to what we had here, right? But we can see the price has since reclaimed and is now closing above not only that the range low, but also our golden pocket 618 and 66 has been reclaimed and is holding now on a 30-minute time frame. So again, going back to our theme, what is the most messed up thing that we could think to happen? Well, people are shorting this. They're heavily shorting this. We can see that there's still, despite this move up, there's quite a bit of negative delta built up in here. Funding rates are largely negative still. So people are expecting a breakdown. So when you do something like this and round out, get, a 4-hour closure below the range here, where people are then expecting continuation to the downside, well, you can imagine it's messed up. It's a messed up thing to do, right? It's classic BTC, and that's exactly what we're seeing happen here, is that classic BTC where you can really just think to yourself, what would be the most messed up thing that can happen? Well, the most messed up thing would be to sweep these highs, not take out the high, get super close, right? Get super close to it, drop down, get sort of this bearish formation, lose the range low, and then immediately reclaim it. And from here, again, what would be the most messed up thing is if we squeeze, sweep the highs, and then actually dump. I mean, it's wild. It truly is. It's unbelievable. Really, if you just sometimes sit here and think to yourself, what would really mess up the most amount of people? And that's the scenario that we see happen. Thankfully for us, our stops were here. This did not reach our stops. I'm still long from this zone. Still looking to take profit about here, 28,900. I have mine set. And then I'll look to, I'm going to leave the rest run because this is already a compounded one, right? So I already, longed here, took profit all the way up to here, left a 25% runner, came down here, compounded that 25% runner here to add to my long. And now, things don't look great. Like this isn't, you know, BTC's hanging on by a thread here, and if it really does lose this and give us further confirmation of losing the level, then yeah, we are going to go lower for sure. So I haven't added to my long. I'm simply holding it. My trading plan is not invalidated, right? So since I compounded my long here and have held my stop here, it's not invalidated. Why? Because I did not get stopped out. So I'm gonna let my plan continue to play out. I'm not going to get shook out by this you know, by this messy price action here, because that's exactly what it's designed to do. If that is the case where we do hold and go up, this was all designed to shake you out as well as to trap shorts, right? For a squeeze to the upside. And we can look too, just for the hell of it. Is this? I don't know how well. I know Binance. I'm sorry, Binance was having some issues, so I don't know if ExoChart is picking up all that data. Did this 27,300? Is that about where it went down to? Yeah, it looks like it did pick up that data. So you can see here 20 million, 8.4 million, 14 million, 6.6 million, a million, 16 million, 13 million, 12 million, 3.1 million, 5, 6, 17 million in negative delta right at the very bottom, 2.7, 6.4, 4.8. All of this down here, well, those are all trapped shorts now, right? If price can continue to hold this zone, then I don't see any reason why it couldn't squeeze, you know, basically take out all of these highs here, sweep the highs, and, you know, hopefully get that squeeze a little bit higher and sweep that big pocket of liquidity that we've been looking for, and, you know, and then really get our move down. I will point this out. This was, and I was aware of this along the way, this uptrend has a very close, it's pretty close to it, the midline, but this trend line here, I have been looking for this trend line to be lost, and I was looking for it to lose, back test it for then continuation to the downside, and that is a possible scenario that we're seeing play out here. Now, what I was hoping was going to happen on that back test was that we were going to wick and then have continuation down, right? So this is a possibility. Generally speaking, this is bearish. Losing this trend line is bearish. So what I'm saying is that especially if we were to get a squeeze that swept these highs, this is a very shortable squeeze, right? Because we've already lost this key trend line, back tested it here. We've already lost this local trend line. If we were to get some kind of a move up and reject, I mean, I'm very comfortable shorting this, right? I'm not going to be, you know, worried and thinking, oh, we can go higher. And I mean, maybe it will, God knows, you know, I mean, I can't sit here and say I know exactly what's going to happen. But what I can tell you is, just by looking at this data here, this isn't bullish. I'm not looking at this and thinking, you know, if we go to our 4-hour chart here, you know, like, yeah, okay, it's a bull run, you know, we have this big move and whatever, but seeing price round out like this isn't exactly, I don't see that and I think, wow, yeah, we're gonna go to 40K right away. You know what I mean? Like, this looks like a retracement is looming, which is great because it can give us a little bit more confidence in taking a short position if we get a candle that comes up like this, right? Closes, say, below here, or at the very least below our previous high, right? Get an additional candle closure below. We can compound and then look to trade it, you know, look to trade it down from there, basically. You know, say, okay, that's it. You know, that was it. That's the move. We can look to go lower. I would feel very comfortable with that trade, right? Um, I don't think we're going to get that deep of a retracement on our wave 2. I really, really don't. Let's see, if we were to get the move to 29.2, let's say, the 0.5 would be at about 24.5. I would say that the 382 is far more likely of a target in this case, where if we were to see this move up to around there, get some more candle closures, I would then expect, a move down to, at the very least, here, but I would really look for here at the 382, right? And it doesn't even have to be on this time frame. We can go ahead and oops. At one of these sort of spots here, get that one more and then basically sort of tail off and look for some degree of a retracement down to the top of this channel here, which would be about 26.3. Basically sweep both these lows, bounce off the top of this wick sort of zone, or otherwise go down to this 382, I think would be, also very appropriate. So somewhere sort of in that zone. But yeah, just seeing sort of the next few candles look something like this, I think would be really, it'd be really, really nice. Yeah, look at this, guys. Look at this. Oh man, it's just I just oh god, I just love I just love crypto. This is like oh shit, I'm sorry. This is just like look at this shit. Like again, we were just talking like the most messed up shit that could happen. Like this is it. You're watching it happen, right? I encourage you guys to ask yourselves that, when you're doing your analysis and your forward thinking, um, if you have a wedge or something, like we had here, think to yourself, well, what's the most messed up thing that can happen in a wedge? Well, it happened here. That's what it was. It was I thought it would be a sideways consolidation, sweep the high. It was actually an upwards consolidation, sweep the high was the worst case scenario. And we absolutely saw that happen. Um, So yeah, I don't know. We'll wait to see how this plays out. Obviously, price it's going to either consolidate between these two zones here, or even better yet, I would love to see it just break and wreck through all of this. I want this move to happen fast. I would really, 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 really like to see this happen today. And the reason being is if you look, this channel fortunately gives us a little bit of a timeline. If we look to where the end of the day is today, let's just give it the daily close, is here on the chart, right? So if price is consolidating at this level and we expect sideways consolidation through the weekend, well, we're going to consolidate out of this range. And for us to then get a move up, it would have to come up like this, like on a Monday or Tuesday or something like that, and then come down. Versus, doing this very, very quickly, getting this move up today, basically squeezing to the upside, then coming down and then consolidating sideways out of here and dump, on Sunday, Monday. Like I would prefer something like that because we're at one thing has to break, right? Either it's going to be this this level here, or it's going to be this level here, or it's going to be this level here, right? So if we don't break through here and get this move up, then we're going to sideways consolidate through here, and I'm going to feel like it's less likely that we get that move up on Monday or Tuesday, right? I would rather hold on by a thread here, absolutely do the impossible, bears are in disbelief, get a rip candle through here, mega short after everyone's been stopped out or liquidated, and then we trade it back down like kings. Like, to me, that would be ideal, right? And it would be super messed up. I mean, just looking at this, I even just this deviation alone, I mean, I know, I mean, this must have got people very, very bearish, right? You know, to get a deviation like that. I was sleeping at the time, so I woke up to this next candle up, and I just, of course, I started laughing a little bit because it's so messed up. You know, it's really messed up price action that can really, you know, trap and fool a lot of people. But that's what the market wants to do. That's what the market's going to try to do. You know, even more so, like if we were to not sweep that high and this were it, I mean, this too, in and of itself, would be a pretty messed up scenario if we just, you know, continue downwards. For me, the reason why I don't think that that's the case, just simply looking at data, you know, if we go to our liquidation levels, we still have about 6 billion in negative delta. Okay, 6 billion in negative delta, and we're at 28K, and we held this level, right? That sounds like enough fuel to get, you know, a push to the upside, right? And then we go to our chart here, our liquidation heat map, or our liquidity heat map. We zoom in on our price action, and at about 29.50 to 29.200, this zone here, we have about 5 billion, little 6 billion in liquidations that can happen in this zone, right? Not to mention the stops that are also put there. So price is attracted to these hot spots here. If we zoom back out, that's the hottest spot on the chart. You know, we don't really have, and just in the last 7 days of price action, I mean, the next closest one would be about 25,500, which ding, 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 ding is our 382, right? Or 26,300, I mean. Let's double check that. 26,300, I believe. Nope, it was the 25,500. Yep. So again, we have some great confluence there. Our 25,500 is the next hottest spot on the chart in terms of liquidity, followed by then about 26,350. So that's great. I mean, we look at this chart and we say, okay, the top of this channel here is about 26,350. And then our 382 is the 25,550. Okay, great. So those are our two hot spots. And there are also areas that we have confluence on the chart, right? So it's that's why I have the opinion that I have. It's completely analytical. I'm not looking at this and thinking, oh, I you know, we had this really big downturn and I'm feeling that this is bearish, and it did look bearish, don't get me wrong. But, you know, when we have all this data, or let's say we look at our funding rates here, there's a lot of green on this board. I would like to see a lot more red. I mean, funding rates aren't even quite neutral yet. Neutral is usually 0.01. So they're still a little bit below what we would consider neutral. Yeah, here's what I would like to see. All of these white and red, and even more so red. I want to see a lot of people longing. I want to see this liquidity swept. When that liquidity is swept, I want to zoom in on this chart here, and I want to see a lot of these green dots at the very top of that sweep, just like this, all green like that. See all those green dots? Those are longs. These are people longing. I want to see a lot of people longing into the high, getting a closure below with all of them trapped, right? Trapped at the highs with these very positive funding rates, having after grabbed this liquidity on a sweep. To me, that's okay, great, perfect. That is our short. That's exactly what I want to see. That's the short. You know, to me, like, this is a lukewarm short. Like, we could take it. It obviously has gone quite well so far, right? It's been a decent short. We can see. Let's take a look here. It is down It went down at the most about 4.5% to right now at about 2.5, 2.25% down, which is great. I would take, I would be very happy with that trade any day of the week. Um, but my bias still rests higher. So we'll have to just we'll wait and see what happens. Like I said, if we just consolidate out of this, I'm gonna start to lose interest. Um, I will start to lose interest if we just consolidate sideways out of here. I'm not gonna think to myself, oh God, yeah, we'll probably really see that big sweep to the high. I'm not gonna totally rule it out, of course, until I get stopped out and I'm totally invalidated on my long trade. But yeah, for now, I'm just I'm generally, still looking for continuation to the upside. I shouldn't say continuation. I want to see, a sweep like this, close below, and then continuation down. So, I don't see any questions rolling in. I'm not sure. We can maybe just take a look at the weekly chart here, looking at an potential evening star candle. That would signify a decent area for a retracement. Maybe get that sort of move a little bit lower and maybe get a closure here before then. Possible continuation to the upside, so we'll have to keep an eye on that Sunday to see how this candle does close. I've said this before, but I'm not looking for wave 3 to end until we get past this vertical line here, which is at about June 5th. So I would like to see our wave 3 end, within the second week of June, at least kind of extending in here, maybe putting in a high and then, getting our move down from there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. There's still quite a bit of time, obviously, April, May. So 2 more months, until I'm really expecting to put an end to this next wave. Unless, right, this isn't a wave 3 at all, and it's something entirely different like an ABC, right? A, B, C. And then we get, some kind of a move back down, right? So those things will be defined for us in the coming weeks here. But for now, like doing something like this, like I said, this is what I like. This is what I'm gonna continue to trade on. Very easy in validation. I get stopped out here. We maybe have sideways consolidation out. We drop whatever, this and that. But so as long as we're holding this and the bottom of the channel, I don't really see any reason to. I'm not going to deviate from my plan. Like I've pointed out, having lost this trend line here and having lost this one, I do think this all does look bearish. I do think that the bulls have lost steam on this. But again, no reason why we can't see a simple squeeze to the upside before then. More of a capitulation rather than sort of the slow bleed to the downside. I'm not going to be entering any longs. I'm already in a long. I don't really see the point in longing this because right here, I don't want to say it's a 50-50 chance, but really Bitcoin is hanging on by a thread here, right? If Bitcoin doesn't hold this level, it's likely that we're going to see significantly lower. If it does hold this level, then we'll get a sweep of the highs and then we'll go lower. So, when your 2 scenarios lead to lower, no, I wouldn't long this at all. My next trade is going to be a short somewhere up in this zone after these highs are swept. That's going to be my next trade. How is ETH looking? It looks like it won't make it to 860 again. Please share your thoughts on that as well. I said this in the Discord yesterday. In my opinion, the ETH high was in. I said this. We were trading right here, and I said that the ETH high is in. As you can see, ETH swept the highs, which is exactly what I would love to see Bitcoin do. And just because I expect Bitcoin to do it does not mean I expect ETH to do it again, being that you also have to take into consideration the ETH BTC pair, right? So in the event that BTC does get that move up, no, I very much don't expect ETH to then, rip to 1900. Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. But in my opinion, I think the high is in on ETH. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this. I don't even know what this is. Get rid of that. I haven't done a proper, how long have we been on? About a half hour. I haven't done like a proper, ETH analysis in a bit because I've been so focused on BTC. But ETH, yeah, I mean ETH did exactly what I wanted BTC to do. It was great. Basically we had these equal highs. We had these equal highs here. ETH swept it, back tested this trend line that it lost. Boom, fell down, and now it's back testing here. I think that the high is in. It could could it squeeze up a little bit? Sure, maybe, but I wouldn't be like I wouldn't be entering any longs on this at all. Let's see. Yeah, the 618's here. If BTC does get that squeeze, maybe ETH squeezes up too. Kind of hits this back test this zone a little bit, but I wouldn't hold my breath for like 1900 or something, if that's what we're if that's what we're talking about. If BTC, the question is, if BTC doesn't hold this zone, will you enter short from there? No. No, I will not. I personally, so like here's the thing. I say this all the time to people. It sounds simple, but it's harder to sort of follow through with. But only trade when you have edge in the market. Right now, I don't have edge in the market. I'm not looking at this and I'm saying, I'm not looking at this and saying, yeah, like for sure, it's gonna go down. I'm not looking at this and saying, oh yeah, for sure, we're gonna go up. I have my next zones that I'm going to take a trade from. My next trade is going to be a sweep of this high. If price gets above here and we see some rejection, that is my next trade. It's going to be a short. I intend to ride that short down to either the top of the channel at about 26, 300, 500 zone, and hopefully even then down to the 25, 500 zone as well, to where I will then flip and look for a long position, given that I get the opportunity. Right, and we do have the 21-day moving average coming up here, right? Reaching at about that level. It's sitting at, 25,500, which is where that nice pocket of liquidity is as well. The 21-day moving average, the daily moving average has been very well respected in the past, as we can see here, along with the 55. So, in seeing where those are at, starting next week based on what happens today, this is definitely going to be where I'm going to, look for some degree of a long. Is going to be somewhere in here. So that's my next long setup. And my next short setup is going to be higher. I'm not going to short here. I'm not going to short here. I'm not going to short if price starts breaking down. I'm not going to do that. If price breaks down from here and I missed the opportunity to short and my long gets stopped out here, then that's fine. I'm going to then look to long lower, right? I'm not going to like make up a trade on the fly and try to get fancy and do something that I wasn't already planning. I have a plan, right? Sweep the highs, take the short, we drop, period, whether it's from here or after sweeping the highs, I'm going to long, the one of those two zones that I talked about here. So that's that's it. I'm not going to pivot. I'm not going to do anything different. My trade, as far as I'm concerned, the long that I compounded here, is still valid. Why is it still valid? Because I haven't been stopped out, right? So it's still valid. I'm targeting, up here. Hopefully we'll get there and we'll hit my take profit. I'll be very happy with that. And then, I'll start looking for a short position and that's it. Well, all right. Actually, being that we've only been on for a half hour, oh God. I would let's just do something very, I'm gonna like totally not take a lot of time doing this, but I just want to look. Add support. Okay, so in the event that BTC does get a move down, I don't necessarily expect ETH to drop super hard as well, because it is technically at support. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to. Would I take a short on ETH here? I'll tell you what, if BTC sweeps the high and ETH comes up and sweeps here but closes below, like if it sweeps these highs, closes below here, you could take a 618 short trade and, you know, do something. You know, basically do something like this. I would consider that. I would rather short BTC because it's a lot more clear, you know, what needs to happen, because these highs haven't been swept yet, whereas they've been swept on ETH. You know, that said, it does give you a very clear spot for your stop loss. So if, you know, like I said, BTC does sweep the highs and we see ETH lag and kind of come up here and sweep these highs but hold this zone, it could give you a really nice short entry in here, and then, like I said, a place for your stop loss above this previous high. So if you're someone who really likes to trade ETH and you do see this scenario play out, the convenient part is that yes, it really does give you a nice place for your stop loss. On the other hand, the reason why I like the BTC trade is because it hasn't swept the highs yet. So, you know, getting a move up like that and kind of closing below one of these key resistance levels would be enough reason for me to think, yeah, we're going to all flip short here and we're going to look lower. You know, looking at the chart, I swear to God, I would be absolutely stunned if we made it up to this level here, the 28 or the 29,900 zone that we have is a very key resistance. I would be stunned if we made it up there. I am more or less looking to just sweep the highs, grab this liquidity up to about 29,200, and then from there, you know, simply look lower. So we'll see. We'll have to just wait and see, you know, how this price action plays out. But, you know, like I said, so far it's holding the zone. You know, rejecting from here, not so great. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. You know, we'll just sort of have to wait and see. I want to take a look at something here. If we pull up this local. Yeah, so we can see, you know, something sort of similar here. Very similar price action. Let's just for shits here. Yeah, I mean, if that happened over the weekend, I'd be kind of pissed, to be honest with you. I think that would be shitty, but yeah, you can see the similarities between these two price actions here. You know, where it sort of consolidates up and then it sweeps the high and then gets its dump, similar to, you know, how we had this trend line here. It's similar, you know, we sort of just consolidated up higher and then finally fell. You know, I again, I wouldn't really like to see something like that, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. I will do a market Friday market recap later today if we see anything interesting at all happen on the charts, right? If we do get some sort of a move or something does actually happen, you know, I'll definitely hop on. I'll make a quick, you know, 8-minute video, something like that, just doing a little bit of a recap and something for us to look forward to, you know, in the upcoming week here. Like I said, in the meantime, I'm not taking any trades. It's Friday. I don't like to open up new positions on a Friday. That said, if we did sweep the high, that'd be a little bit too hard for me to ignore. So I would definitely take something in that case. Keep in mind, over the last several weekends, we have seen a lot of volatility. I do not trade weekends. So if you do, just be safe in trading those weekend moves. I will say if the highs were swept over the weekend, I would be very, very hard pressed not to take the position. So we'll see how strong I can stay in that case if I am faced with that scenario. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I will be in the Discord if you have any questions. Okay, we'll see you later.